Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Are you ready, please, to fasten your seatbelts, stick your luggage under your seat, prepare for the oxygen masks to drop from the ceiling. We have a little bit of a distance to go before it's time for you to disembark. Are you ready?
Yes.
Are you ready?
Yes.
All right. Let me see your posture reflect that you're ready. Pull yourself up, tuck your butt back. Get your elbows in, side by side. You're not leaning on your neighbour's seat. You set? Yes, in the event of an emergency. Follow this lady. She'll be leading you out. Okay. Now, I'm actually trialling the new Logitech remote. Do you have clicker envy right now? Check this out. Ready? Look at this. Oh. Not only are you envious right now of my clicker, but are you not envious of the way I took conference notes? Just feast your eyes to the screens, just for a moment. Look at that. Aren't they sensational? Oh, I'm sorry. That was my boldness part, not my humility part. I just want to go, I'm amazed at the tools that exist for us to get the most out of convention notes. And I also am really delighted that I sat in on how to promote your book session and ensure that your marketing collateral is leveraged everywhere. Do you notice anything in the way I've created my social memes that have gone out through social media and the things, the images that will then appear on Google correctly indexed? Thank you, Heather. Can you look at it? What do you think? Now, here's the key. This was using an app called WordSwag. And with WordSwag, I had previously created a template of the header on my book, which is the alphabet principle, your A to Z guide to being a compelling leader. And then what I did was take a photo of the brochure on the table for the weekend's convention. And so I've used that world-class image in the top left-hand side. And then I've used that tool, WordSwag, as my note-taking device for the entire convention. I believe in leveraging my time and my expertise because both are very important to me. If I leverage those, then I get more time to hang out with my family and great people. I can choose to do pro bono. I can choose to come and be with a company of people like this because I'm redeeming my time and I'm leveraging it in such a way that it will then add value to my target market. So speakers are not my target market. So what I share with you today are the tools that I use when I go into my target market so that perhaps there are some transferable ideas. Because what I'm going to do this afternoon is ensure, as much as I can, that we land on time so that you're ready for our closing keynote. So do I have your permission to rush through this, ensuring that you get maximum value? Can I do that with you? All right, I'm seeing your postures slip. You need to stick your butt back in the seat, pull up tall, suck your tummy in. Imagine you've got that string through the top of your head, chins in, you ready? You ready?
Yes.
I need you each, please, to nominate a table captain. Look quietly, just give them the look that says you're the one. Just quietly, you're the one. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are the designated table captain, without saying a word, would you please come to the front of the stage? Thank you, a round of applause.
Don't be shy.
Ladies and gentlemen, in front of you are our table captains. I'm going to ask Sally on the left. And thank you, kind sir. Your name is Al. Would you be my helper, Al? If you tuck that chair in for safety reasons, because when we're on an aircraft, we all know about ensuring the safety and keeping the exits clear. Could you please prepare to hand out, we have there 5, 8. Can I have the first 8 people on this side turn to the right in an orderly fashion as you prepare to move down the aisle. Go and see our esteemed colleague here, and then round back around. I'm just doing this because I want you moving. You're collecting a batch of 90-day action postcard plans to take back to your table, of which there are 7 in a batch. To my colleagues on the left, notice here the fine company of men here. I'm going to ask you please to veer around to your left and see the fabulous Sally, who is my esteemed colleague this afternoon, and then return to your seats without handing these postcards out, if you can. No handing them out. Here's what I want you to consider. When I went to Washington, the Influence Convention for NSA, I had the privilege of going and staying with a girlfriend of mine. Some of you may know her as the Australian voice of Siri or the GPS girl, Karen. There's the Aussies, the Karen Jacobsons. And during that trip, I had the privilege of accompanying the lovely Donna Hanson and her husband walking through some of the streets of downtown New York. And I came across one of these car parks. This afternoon, this is your job. Your job is to determine which vehicle are you going to drive away in and which ideas you're actually going to park on the shelf, not to put them aside and not to completely ignore them, but rather to say, maybe another day. Because there's a lot of good-looking cars there, and I'm sure there's a lot of great ideas and a lot of great notes that you've already taken. What we want you to do, though, is to really prioritise. So have a look at those fine vehicles and consider, as you reflect on those, what are the fine ideas that you may need to park. You see, I understand we've got time of the essence. Time is of the essence. We would like to release you as close to the program finish time as we can. So there's going to be a bit of activity, so I'm mentally preparing you for this, where there'll be some quiet, reflective music. We ask that during that time you do not exit the aircraft, but rather you do remain seated, or we'll lock the doors. So, of course, you see in front of you the postcards. I'm going to ask our table captains to hand those out to each member. And then we're going to have a look at the document. And we're going to examine more closely the ideas and the notes that you've taken. Handing those out. Put your hand in the air, like you just don't care. You've got it. Oh, that's a great photo. Someone should take a photo of that. Just wave that around. Quick, get your camera. That's amazing. Photo opportunity. Look at that branding. See that collateral? It's amazing. You look so good right now. Oh wait, it's me. No, seriously, you do look very good. Thank you very much. You can place those on the table. Now I'm just seeing if I can. Okay, just manual. One of the things that I've learned to use quite well, so that I can speed up my ideas to execution and get them to market as quickly as possible, are things like an iPad. So what you see here as I drop this little idea in, is I used an iPad app called Notes Shelf and a stylus, and I created this quote just with the stylus, and that same quote is now in that book. So anytime anyone takes a photo of the screen, the domain name is down the bottom for people to purchase the book, and the name is there on the quote. So even if they just want the quote, they're actually getting my name as well as part of the package, and that's going out. So think about how you can leverage the very tools you're using every day. Okay. Now, for this purpose, would you mind raising your hand, please, if you don't know where Gold Coast, Australia is? Sorry, is anyone? Lovely. Are you familiar with this beach? This is my home beach. This is called Burleigh Heads. It's about 1 hour north of Australia's most easterly point. It's particularly interesting because it's on the edge of a volcanic rim. And what we see are huge rocks, and many of them have just exploded out with such great pressure, and others have been worn down by time. This is a new take on the mayonnaise jar. When you look at those photos, just have a look at the size of those volcanic rocks versus the smaller ones that have actually been rounded out through the surf. And why I show you this is because last Monday, it was a public holiday in our state, and normally you'll find me riding through the mountains of northern New South Wales on an 800 S2R Ducati. I know you're looking at me going, she's so elegant right now in her frock, and you're right. But I love nothing more than camo pants and a leather jacket and chasing my husband through the corners of Burringbar Mountains. There's no scaredy lines on my back tyres, and as speakers there shouldn't be any scaredy lines on your business or in the way that you approach your business. There are elements of vulnerability that we all have. but at some point we must rest in the knowledge that the waves will come in, and it's up to us to recognise the tides and the torrents and the circumstances and just get out there and ride the wave, even if it just means swimming out from the shore. So this particular long weekend, I was not on my Ducati 800 S2R, instead I was on my second-hand giant push bike that my husband had bought me on Easter Monday for the bargain price of $150. And because I'm very tall, in case you hadn't noticed, I needed an extension bar for my handlebar. And David gone off to work as an emergency care paramedic, and so I've gone cycling down into Burleigh. Burleigh has been announced throughout all major papers in Australia as the leading tourist destination to go to. So this once coastal, beautiful cafe village is now crammed with tourists and very hard to get a car park. So I decided I would step out in this glorious autumn day, and I would jump aboard my giant second-hand $150 bicycle and ride in very coolly to Burleigh Heads. Halfway in, I didn't know what the heck I was doing when I was trying to change gears, and the chain came off. And for a moment, I was very disconcerted. I had those pre-butterflies that many of us speakers do, no matter how seasoned we are when we're about to come and speak in front of our peers, because we know that if we fail, we sometimes fail very publicly. And so when we're prioritising our ideas, or we're prioritising the vehicle or the right theme or what it is we're going to do, sometimes we're a little bit fearful. But I would say to you, get on your bike and let's ride into Burleigh. Let's ride in and check this out, because sometimes there are surprising things that take place. For example, as I wandered into Burleigh, dodging tourists and hearing my chain go clack, 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 clack as I walked alongside it, I noticed on Burleigh Hill was a sign that said, "Construction, do not enter." And so it is for you in our business. We need to be very clear on what areas we are safeguarding, what areas it is that we are intending to earmark for our construction and rebuild and our focus. So at Burleigh Headland, when I saw this sign, I thought, we really need to determine where are we going to pull up, stop, and examine the notes and the outcomes that we're going to use today. And this then led to me wandering down the hill and giving some thought to the change that takes place. My expectation here is that you won't be able to see this screen. Suffice to say, it's modelled on Elizabeth Kubler-Ross's grief cycle. It's a combined change flowchart that I developed for my change management clients in C-suite and frontline management, working across diverse industries. And so it is for you in business, in this speaking business. There will be periods that you will have which are extreme highs and extreme lows, as Andy so graciously shared with us earlier today. There's always an outcome and there's always a choice. So if you'd like a copy of that, it's something I give away free to my clients anyway. You're welcome to just let me know at the end of this, and I'll make sure that you can get a copy of it as well if you'd like. Also, as I wandered down that hill, I accosted a fine-looking man in a sleeveless shirt walking his son. I went, "Excuse me, I need an anonymous character that I can just use in a photo because I'm doing this presentation. Would you do that for me?" And he went, "Actually, I'd really like to, because I don't really like the photos I have taken of myself." So he was a Brazilian man, and he stood alongside me at the little deck that overlooks the bay in Burleigh Heads. And as he did that, he's postured forward, and his little kid who didn't speak English was looking at Dad, and I said, "Just a little bit more, please, just a little bit more. If you could bend down, that'd be great." And the intention with that photo for you, the man looking through, is what is your vision? What's on your horizon? So when you're considering this, it's making sure that as we embark on this journey, you're very clear, as was shared earlier today, that your business model is not the same as mine or as any other speaker. We're all quite different. However, there may be similarities. Be very clear on what it is that you are reaching for. What is your why? My husband Dave and I are a tight team. We're the Deane team. some would say the dream team, I would say the Deane team. So the Deane team have a mission and our horizon is very clear in what we want to achieve. So this then led me, beyond looking short-sightedly at the Brazilian man being my photo model, to go, oh, what's in the short vision? Because often we can look strategically and then we forget what's right in front of our face. So as we talk about constructing, let's just brush over that. Fill in the outside of your cards for me. Can you do that? Have you done that?
No.
Okay, just quickly do that, and then I want to show you this amazing thing that I saw when the Brazilian man was having his photo taken. So, quickly fill in your name. I think most of you have got that. Fill in your name. And what I did in my 90-day card, because I've done mine this afternoon, I've actually put the date in as from the 1st of May to the 1st of August. It's up to you when you want to start your 90-day, but I just looked at that and went, 3 months, that'll do for me. 1st of May through to the 1st of August. Then on the back, we've heard a little bit about values throughout the last 2 days. I want to share with you, I actually have 7, an overachiever. Let's just say it's a little bit daggy, but it spells the word carpash. My values are courage, accountability, relationship, prosperity, adventure, spirit-led, and home front. Carpash. I remember it. It underpins every decision that I make. What are your values? You may have honesty and integrity, yes, but what else? And if you haven't thought about designing your next 90 days in conjunction with your strategic and your operational vision, basing it on your values, then that's your homework on the flight home. Or maybe Tuesday next week, set some time aside to focus on what are your strategic objectives. If you have time this Sunday, which is Personal Leadership Sunday in our Corporate Cinderella and Tarran Deane world, then give some thought to it then. You've heard a lot of people bravely share where they stand in their faith and spirituality. Where do you stand? It's your call. Carpash, those sensational values of Tarran Deane are courage, accountability, relationship, prosperity, adventure, spirit-led, and home front. You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you. Okay, this is what I saw. Is that good, Ron? This is what I saw looking down from the man, Brazilian man, looking through the goggles at the horizon. As I stood alongside him, as we were like this, I went, fodder, content, washed up on my beach for you. I went, how amazing is that? If I had not done the click thing on my bike, I might have ridden further afield and I might have missed this whole thing. So here it is, this whole metaphor around what it is you're going to build as a result of this today. Turning the page over, looking at the inside. Choosing your theme from APSS convention. Enterprise, eloquence, expertise, and ethics. I would encourage you to keep this theme running as participants here. Choose one of those topics as your theme for the next 90 days. You've heard presenters share on a range of elements. You've observed stagecraft, you've observed keynote design, you've observed entertainment. You have heard conversations and been part of discussions around ethics, around affiliate marketing, referrals, and more. You've joined people around marketing your book, LinkedIn, visibility, SEO, and a whole bunch of other things. Which of these 4 are going to be your theme? If you've got it, put your hand in the air with your trifold brochure and say, I've got it. I've got it. The overachievers are on this side. Either that or you're very quiet. Okay, you are a fine example of a great volunteer because you were bold. Would you just stand up for me? Can we just give him a round of applause? Thank you very much. I just wanted to do that. Thank you. Thank you very much. So, once you've got your theme, has everyone got their theme? Is it written down? This is very important. That's your horizon. That's what you're aiming for. So in this next section, I want to explain to you very quickly how we're going to approach this from a very practical revenue and expenses lens, if we may. If you've not considered what your projected income is for the next 90 days, bear this in mind. That's the filter through which I want you to consider how you're designing your next 90-day goals. So I'm just going to run through the perimeter of this trifold brochure, the action plan, and then we'll step into giving you some thinking music where you can work on it. So 30, 60, 90, that's designed to be cumulative totals. So the first 30 days, then the 60, then the 90. What's your projected 90-day revenue? Then we're going to have a look at 30, 60, 90 days for expenses, and then what's your projected net profit? So I've made an assumption that it will be a profit that you'll have after this convention, 1st of August. However, you might need to invest more for this next quarter, and so there could be a loss, and that's quite okay, but you'll need to manage that yourself. Down the right-hand side, of course, questions to consider. Who else is involved? How many hours will all three of these tasks take, start to finish? What are your obstacles that you encounter? And then what's your total spend for all three of your projects? Down the bottom, you'll see a telephone box, old school, covered in moss. Who are you going to call? Who's going to be involved? The stop sign, what do you have to stop doing in order to achieve this? That's as much of a priority as it is setting about doing these tasks. The barbed wire fence implies what are your boundaries? What do you need to actually ensure that you are doing? How are you holding yourself accountable so that you're saying no to distractions that are not bringing you closer to that horizon? And of course, the people on the far right. Who are you hanging out with? Who are the masterclasses that you're engaging with? Who are the mentors that you're connecting with? And go back to this one. This is where we're going to have some thinking music. Thank you, Swati. Thinking music, that would be lovely. So now I'd invite you please to just look slowly and carefully at this in like 90 seconds. It's really slow because speakers are on steroids. So if you can look at this, in the centre, what are your three projects that you're going to be focused on for the next 90 days? 3 projects under your theme. So for example, by way of inspiration, my theme for the next 90 days as part of my sales funnel is marketing. Project 1 is video marketing. Under that, the 2 tasks are film the bonus chapters of the book, which there are 26 short chapters. Secondly, film video testimonials. And then the total hours involved with creating and editing and uploading is 29 hours. And then I need to put a price against those. So that's that idea. So using your document, have a look, jot down your theme. There's no right or wrong answer. You're amazing, Elsa. Now I don't know everyone's name, but Philip, are you amazing?
No, can I be average?
You can be averagely amazing in your... I was just, for a moment, Philip, you just took me back to my primary school report. Tarran does well, but relies too much on natural talent and does not apply herself. I think I was average.
I have that effect on a lot.
Okay, I realise we're under the pump, so this afternoon, once we wrap up, if you're not rushing off to the CSP dinner, I'll be around outside. I'm happy to continue the conversation with you, grab a photo, even a video testimonial, and happy to praise you as well in the process. So let's just take a look at these final pieces. Down on that beach, as those young kids were building something amazing, there was a green vine, and so what that jumped out at me as is that even in the midst of all this confusion, there can be a whole bunch of growth, but we just need to be incredibly strategic and look at exactly who we're working with, what we're building. And by the way, I did ask the grandmother for permission to film the children who are appearing before you today. I also recognise that in your world, it can be quite difficult to get some clarity around your focus. if I take us back to the opening slides where I had the social memes up on the screen and how I take conference notes, I developed a system for my business that's called the Signature 7 Framework, and basically it's groundbreaking. It's like 7 days in the week. Isn't that remarkable? 7 days in the week. So starting Sunday through Saturday, we post on a particular stream of leadership every day of the week. And my clients liked it so much and wanted to know how to improve their productivity, which is not my area. It's something that I just did to create a system and a structure from when I was a corporate refugee working for myself. I needed some order. So I just want to make that available to you. If it helps you sharpen your focus, it's a complimentary infographic. You can see the link here. I just went on to Bitly today because it was a bit long. So if you want that, that's fine. Once you get it, just unsubscribe or stay connected if you choose. That would be awesome. I'll leave that up for a brief moment. Have you finished your postcard, or are you taking that away to mull over it and look it over? Yeah, it's pretty meaty, isn't it? So the final piece with this, you've all got that URL, bit.ly/Tarran-APSS, and it's case sensitive. The final piece, as we've been tying this all together throughout the course of the day, is that you were never meant to go alone. So with all this, make sure that you stay connected. Make sure that you're staying in touch, you're being vulnerable, but you're also owning your space. Own your space. It's not by accident, it's by intention. And as I talk about compelling leadership, it is about mobilising and putting your ideas into action. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Tarran Deane. It's been an honour to serve you this afternoon. Thank you.